Listen up. We've lost contact with the colonists at LV-426, so you need to go there and secure the colony before it's overrun by xenomorphs, because this is Aliens. Bug Hunt. A game designed for 1 to 4 players. On average, your mission's going to take you about 60 minutes to complete. The goal of the game is to successfully complete 3 missions and escape the colony from where you entered before it's too late. To set up the game, you want to place the APC board in the middle of the table. Here you'll find the different sectors, 1 through 5, which are primarily going to be used to indicate what location you need to spawn aliens to, and you're also going to find the hive track. This is going to be used to indicate to the player when they need to spawn more aliens. To start the game, you want to place a hive tracker on the 1 spot. After this, you want to give 1 player board to each player who's playing. Each player board is going to have a spot for each of your 3 members in your squad, and it's also going to have a handy turn reference in case you forget what to do on your turn. Next, you want to locate all the tracking cards and shuffle that deck together. The tracking cards are going to be used to tell you what sector that you need to spawn aliens in. After this, you'll need to locate all the tiles and shuffle those together. The tiles are going to represent the different locations that you'll be exploring throughout the game. And after this, you want to set up the phase deck. You want to find all the phase cards whose colors match the colors of the player boards for the players who are playing the game. On top of this, for each player that's playing, you want to add 1 Xenomorph card to the phase deck. Now the phase deck is going to indicate to you whose turn it is. Next, you'll want to shuffle together all the mission cards and randomly deal out 3. These are going to be the 3 missions that you need to complete in order to win the game. After this, you want to separate out all the tokens by the objective tokens, the breach tokens, and the wound tokens. These are all going to be used to keep track of various things throughout the game, but most importantly, the wound tokens, you need to make sure that you shuffle all of them face down. This is important because some of the wound tokens have KIA on them, and some of them are just blank. And after this, you want to make sure that you keep all the Xenomorph dice to the side. These are going to be used to represent the aliens in the game. Next, you want to randomly deal out 1 named character and 2 grunts to each player that is playing, and you want to place those cards onto their player board in the ready position. These 3 characters are going to represent that player's squad. And lastly, you'll want to take the figure that represents each player's squad and place it into Sector 3. And now, we're ready to begin the game. The game is going to take place over a series of turns. We will reveal the top card of the phase deck to indicate what player will be taking their turn, and then they will completely take their turn. This is going to continue until either you win or lose the game. You win if you complete all 3 of your missions by finding 3 objective tokens for each mission that you need to complete. Once you do this, you then need to have every squad exit to Sector 3 to successfully escape and win the game. You lose if one of 3 things happens. If one squad has all 3 of its members die, if you ever need to spawn any more Xenomorph into the area, but you have no more Xenomorph dice to draw from, and if you need to add a Xenomorph card to the phase deck, but you have no more Xenomorph cards to add. For the very first turn of the game, you'll want to spawn Xenomorphs by drawing the top card from the tracking deck. You're going to notice that the tracking card is split up into 5 different sectors corresponding to the sectors on the APC board. You want to put the number of Xenomorph dice into each of the sectors that are indicated on the tracking card. At this point in the game, you're not going to have any tiles on the board, so you just want to place them in the empty space to the right of the sector. So now you can draw the first card from the phase deck. It's either going to be a player card or Xenomorph card. If it's a player card, you now get to take the player's turn, which comprises of 2 different steps. The first step, the player gets to move. For movement, a squad can spend up to 3 movement points. It costs 1 movement point to exit a location tile, or 2 movement points if the squad is exiting through a barrier. You're going to notice barriers by little junk-looking piles on the edge of tiles. If a squad is moving into an empty complex space that has no location tile, that squad's going to draw a new tile, place it there, and then end their movement immediately. Now when you place new tiles, you're going to notice that there's a bright light on the tile. This is going to be where you're going to match up the new tile to the tile that you just exited. Now when you place a new tile, you're going to notice a couple of things. There might be an objective token icon on that tile. If there is, take one of the objective tokens and place it on the tile. And the other thing you might notice on the tile is you might have a Xenomorph icon with a number on it. If you see this, take that number of Xenomorph dice and immediately put them in that tile. After you've completed your movement, you can now go to the second step of your turn, which is the action phase. In the action phase, you can choose to do one of 4 things. You can choose to capture an objective token in the tile that you're in. When you do this, you'll take the objective token and place it on one of the empty objectives on one of the 3 missions. Now the objective tokens are double-sided, and you'll notice that all of the missions have different abilities on them. So once you place an objective token on that mission, You can then at any point in time flip the objective token over and activate the ability on that mission. You can choose to breach a barrier. If you choose to do this, you'll take one of the breach tokens and place it over the barrier that you wish to breach. There is no longer a barrier here, and it's now considered an open tile. You can choose to shoot any xenomorphs in your tile or tiles adjacent to you, so long as there's no barriers in your way. If you decide to do this, you can choose any number of characters in your squad to deplete. You'll do this by dragging them from the ready position to the depleted position. After you've done this, you're ready to fire. So to know how many xenomorphs you can attack, you'll notice that your characters have an ammo icon on them. For all the ones that you depleted, you'll want to add up the number on the ammo icons, and that's going to dictate how many aliens you can attack. So you'll start by rolling the dice of the aliens that are sharing the same tile as you, and then, after you've done this, you can then attack the aliens in tiles adjacent to you. Depending on the result of the die, will dictate whether or not you kill the alien and return it to the xenomorph dice pile, whether your attack misses, or whether the xenomorph actually attacks you and you suffer a wound. When you suffer a wound, you want to take one wound token and place it on top of your character. You're going to notice every character has a health limit. Once you have a number of wound tokens equal to the health of that character, any additional wound that you suffer, you'll then need to flip over one of the wound tokens and see if it's blank or KIA. If it's blank, you live to fight another day, and if it's KIA, that character is immediately dead and they're taken out of the game. And the last action a player can perform is the reload action. When you take this action, you take all your players from depleted and put them in the ready position. Once this is completed, you'll then want to draw the next phase card. If it happens to be a xenomorph card, you want to move the hive track one space up. If you ever hit spot number 9, the icon next to this indicates that you need to take a xenomorph card and add it to the discard pile of the phase deck. And if you ever hit spots number 1, 4, and 8, now this is the xenomorph phase icon, and this is where things start to get nasty. So the xenomorph phase is going to be split up into 3 steps. The first step is going to be where the xenomorphs attack any squads that they are sharing a tile with. For every xenomorph in the tile with your squad, that squad's going to take 1 wound. Next, the xenomorphs are going to move. If there are any squads and tiles adjacent to the xenomorphs, they will then move into the tile with the squad. And if this isn't the case, then the xenomorphs are just going to move 1 space closer to the sector that they are near. And lastly, you're going to spawn more xenomorphs by drawing the next card in the tracking deck. And remember, if you ever run out of xenomorphs to spawn, you're going to lose the game. And that, my friends, is Aliens Bug Hunt in a nutshell. What I really enjoy about this game is how it seems pretty easy in the beginning stages of the game, but the deeper that you get into it, the intensity and the difficulty ramps up exponentially. So that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, so long, farewell.